Why did Mikhail Gorbachev, murder his wife Raisa in 1999? She died from a rare acute form of leukemia on September the 20th, 1999. Leukemia caused by radioactivity is very rare. It was a man-made strain, totally artificial. Now, just how did she come into contact with this radioactive material? Well, in Russia, only the government has access to radioactive material. Since Gorbachev was the head of the government, and he still is behind the scenes, he would have access to all the radioactive elements or compounds that he could desire. So that is the evidence that Gorbachev is the one responsible for Raisa's death, his wife of 46 years. Now, just why did Gorbachev do it, if he did do it? Gorbachev is a true blue Stalinist. Stalinist to the core. Stalinist through and through. He's totally given over to the desire to win nuclear war against the United States. But he couldn't do it as long as America could retaliate effectively. So as soon as he came into power, he was determined to end the Cold War, make peace, give up Eastern Europe, give up the Communist Party's monopoly on power in Russia, give up let the Soviet Union split up, all for the purpose of tricking America into disarming now that the Soviet threat had seemed to disappear. Russia ended the Cold War solely so that they could get us to disarm, so they could eventually bomb us. So Gorbachev's intent was totally evil from the very beginning. Now, one of the lies that Gorbachev was telling was that Russia was becoming democratic, and democracies always have rapid turnover in the head of the government. So if Gorbachev had stayed in power from 1985 till today, that would expose Russia's democratization process as a fraud. So Gorbachev had to give up power, at least on the surface, so that he could make it look good, that he could make it look like Russia was becoming democratic. And so he gave up power to Yeltsin, who was his protege, who was a totally communist, but he claimed to be a former communist. He claimed to be a Democrat. This was all phony. Gorbachev is still in power behind the scenes, and when Yeltsin was in power, officially, he was the puppet, and Gorbachev was the puppet master, just like today, Putin is the puppet. Now, Raisa died during Yeltsin's time in 1999. Putin had not come into power yet. But Raisa noticed that Gorbachev and Yeltsin were communicating on the phone. Gorbachev has a dedicated phone line, which means America cannot tap that phone. And Raisa may have been suspicious about Gorbachev always communicating and seeming to give orders to Yeltsin. And so Gorbachev was afraid that Raisa would put two and two together and realize that Gorbachev's resignation in 1991, December, was 1991 was a complete fraud, a bogus. And if she would think about it, she might have realized the purpose of all this deception was to get America to disarm so that Russia could bomb America. And she may have been totally disgusted at such an idea. And Gorbachev was afraid that she would blow the whistle on him to expose his plot to bomb America. And so he had her killed, rubbed out, through the use of a radioactive element. Now, it probably took all the willpower he had to do such a thing. He probably hated doing it, but he basically sold his soul to the devil. His desire to bomb America and take over the world outweighed his love for his wife of 46 years. He probably kissed her, hugged her and kissed her on the same day that she died. And this reminds me of Judas Iscariot kissing Christ at the same time that he betrayed him into the hands of his executioners. Now, if you have any comments, please put them under this video and look at the description. I'm going to give a transcript. I'm going to write a transcript, a complete transcript of this video, like I usually do. So you can make a copy, paper copy, because when Russia bombs this country, EMP will destroy computers. So you better have what you want to keep. You better have it on paper. Or you could email me at joegracegrace@gmail.com. JOEGRACEGRACE.